Hey everyone, welcome to Buzzing About Romance. I am Becky, and joining me for this episode is Leah. Hello, Leah.
Hello, Becky.
And Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
And Jenny. Hello, Jenny.
Hey, Becky.
We are pre-recording this. Nobody really cares, but it's a Monday, and we've had a Monday.
Yeah. People care.
Yeah.
It's a
you
Monday.
threw off the whole routine at my house. Like,
oh, did I? Because we're doing it on an off night?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you're welcome.
It's okay.
No welcome.
Yeah, I mean,
you could say
it's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Listen,
yes, you are.
My dog has not been the same all day. Like, he's still napping.
Killian just asked.
He only got up. He didn't even get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Like, he just laid back down and went to sleep. He's like, I'm not getting up with you, lady.
That's a lot of work.
That poor guy. He's a tired guy. And he misses Killian, so let him know.
Oh, I will, because he wanted to know.
Okay, he misses him.
Yeah.
Anyway, how was your Monday, Amanda?
It was Monday.
It's just Monday.
Yeah, it was Monday. Yeah, my brain is fried. We did Father's Day on a weird day. We had other stuff happen.
So you've just been all messed up.
We're having AC problems. I'm not happy right now. So.
Oh, how hot is it down there though?
It is. I mean, we're registering like it feels like it's in the hundreds with like 80% humidity. It's nasty.
Miserable.
Yeah, so. And I'm having a hot flash, so it's been a great day.
It's been a great day. Well, if you feel the need to rip your shirt off, you can do it because we're not like live.
That's why I was like, I was warning you about what the faces I was gonna be making tonight. So I'm glad we're not live.
No, we're not.
I mean, I make faces even when we are alive. So
do I.
Right. You guys speak volumes.
We all know when I am judging.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the face won't be about anything we're talking about, probably.
I mean, sometimes that happens too.
So just for the last couple episodes, I've been kind of moving our Patreon stuff up to the front of the episode. I'll probably move it back after this episode, but just a quick reminder that Buzzing About Romance is completely listener supported. This is absolutely our passion project. None of us make money from this podcast. It actually probably costs us money, especially in book buying, because, y'all tell us about books and then we have to buy them. Like over the weekend, I asked for book recs because it was double Kindle points, and Stacy was like, buy Jessica Joy. So I went through and bought like 3 books from her. So
I will say I have a list on my Amazon. Like I have a wish list that is only my buy on double points day list.
Oh,
that's
a good
so
idea.
smart.
Mine's just a mess.
It is the only list that like I actually pay attention to when it comes to books. But like it's just books that I've either read because they were in KU and they're not now, and I definitely would reread them. Like I'll dump them in like buy on double points days.
So
because
smart. That, I will say, so just to get back to it, if you would like to continue to help us to support the podcast, please visit us over on Patreon. You can find details in our on the shelf show notes at buzzingaboutromance.com. But so last week we were talking about pre-orders and things that we order, because sometimes we order a book, a special edition, and it's months before we get it. And Lindsay shared the most brilliant of ideas that she makes a list on her phone of what she's pre-ordered, the date she pre-ordered it, and when she expects it to be delivered. So she's always aware of how many books are coming in and out of her house. So I thought, this is a really brilliant idea. I went searching.
How many did you realize that you pre-ordered multiple times?
I went searching through my emails, and then Jenny was like, if they use Shop, it'll tell you what stuff you have pending and where stuff is coming from. I don't love Jenny or Lindsay anymore. Like, we might have to break up because
how many duplicates did you have?
I think the ladies at Love Swept Arrow think that I am insane.
Like legit,
insane. Like,
well, it helped me on one because I didn't pre-order one, so I'm gonna buy one from you.
3 different pre-orders were the same pre-order. So 3 different pre-orders were pre-ordered.
So 3 different books you ordered twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From the same company?
From the same bookstore, yes.
Love Sweet Arrow and
I'm supporting a small business.
Well, and it just goes to show how much you really love those books.
Well,
Yes.
and obsessed
Also,
with the
that stupid book outlet sale, I keep going back and looking, and then I'm like, I cannot buy books right now.
Did you see my
And so then I
stack
closed
that
the
came?
window. I did, which is what prompted me to go back today.
And then I messaged Tara DeWitt and I was like, hey, is there any chance I could get like a signed nameplate? She's like, yeah, send me your address. Because I have Savor It. So, because I bought it from the $5.99 sale.
Oh, I have that. I have that $5.99 copy already, which I'm
So-
pointing at it, but nobody except for you
Nobody's
watching.
currently can see that I'm pointing.
Well, I have Left of Forever, but I didn't have a
Oh, I need to
regular
buy the
copy
Left
of
Forever
Savor It.
paperback.
Oh, I have Savor It like right next to me with a million tabs in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
I-
asked her for a
I-
nameplate and she said, absolutely, no problem. Anyway,
I don't think I should message her about that because I don't think my Saber is signed either. It's not.
I had some moments, and there's a second book coming from Book Outlet. There's a second box coming from Book Outlet. That was the first box. But it's only $5.99. Like, anyway.
Yeah, but it adds up.
It does.
Shut up, Leah.
Wait, did you have to get enough so you could get free shipping? Is that?
It's free shipping. There's no shipping minimum.
That's nice.
Uh-huh.
I didn't need to know that.
Because they do it
information.
media mail. And it comes really nicely packed in a really nice box.
I only bought 2. I don't remember.
Honestly, there is nothing more that I like when I open a box and it is neatly packed.
It was so
Like,
neatly
it
packed.
brings such joy
It
to my
had
life.
like the pull tab on it to open the
Oh,
box, and the corrugated pull tab, and then it opened.
Uh-huh.
And some of the books are definitely like overstock from like Target because they had the Target sticker on them. So I handed them to the girl child and said, "Hey Sid, go get your hairdryer," and she got all my labels off with no problem. So anyway. But this is Becky's book buying problem is not tonight's topic or episode.
Shockingly.
Also not sponsored by the Patreon.
And no, it's not sponsored by Patreon. It is sponsored by Bookcase Media and Mike Burrier.
Mike Burrier.
It's sponsored by Mike Burrier and Visa. Anyway, so for this episode of Buzzing About Romance, we are saddling up and heading straight into the heart of cowboy romances. We first tackled this genre back in episode 152, but it's time for a refresh because cowboy romance is still thriving, evolving, and giving us heroes who are as rugged as they are romantic. In this episode, we're going to actually make a book a cowboy romance. We're going to name it as a cowboy romance versus a Western. We're also going to share some of the most underrated authors we think that are currently writing cowboys or Westerns, and we think should be on your radar. So if you love small town, tight-knit families, dusty back roads, broody ranchers who fall hard, this episode is for you. So first things first, it was a struggle to find a whole series of cowboys.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that
Well, real cowboys.
I think people are, and I don't think it's like, I'm not saying it's bad because it's publishers, it's
across the board.
it's publishers, it's retailers, it's readers, it's authors. So if we think of the subgenre of contemporary romance, so we have romance, subgenre contemporary romance, sub under the contemporary romance is going to be Western and frontier. And then under that is when you're going to specify into cowboy. And I would even venture to say that small town needs separated from cowboy because you can have a small town Western, but does not have a single cowboy in the series. Would you all agree with that kind of umbrella of buckets there?
Yeah.
100%.
So what are we looking for in order to call it truly a cowboy romance?
They have to ride a horse.
But see,
I would
don't
say
think they
there
need to
just
ride a
needs to be
horse.
an animal or a farm.
I don't think they need to ride a horse because if you talk to current farmers and ranchers, many of them are moving to dirt bikes and
They
to
are.
ATVs.
It is more like mechanical now, but
But in a book though, I think they have to ride a horse. And then even for me, like I would go one step further, they have to have some kind of large livestock.
So
Yeah.
it has to be large livestock because like,
well, it could be
Well,
like
I
a
mean,
sheep
not necessarily
farm or
large,
like
but yeah, sheep is, yeah, sheep, but
it
I
has
mean,
to
it
be
has to be
livestock.
livestock.
okay.
It doesn't have to be
Yes.
large. It just has to be
It can't be
livestock.
like a dog farm or like a
Yeah.
cat farm or something like that. Like it has to be
That's not
a
a puppy mill.
livestock.
No, and I'm
Well, you know
glad
what I meant.
I'm glad actually Leah said that because if we remember the Catherine Cowles book, the first one in the Tattered and Torn series, she's
Yeah, that's not a
opening.
cowboy.
It's not cowboy, but she's
No.
opening a rescue ranch.
But that's
Yes.
that's different.
And she has small animals because you can have a rescue ranch with horses, and I would classify that as cowboys. Or if you have horses and like other animals, like more than one, just kind of like more than, like a little small menagerie. I mean, but
Like it
that's,
can't be a
yeah.
hobby. It has to be like a working ranch where like you're making money off of it in some aspect. That's my thing.
Well, it has to be a ranch. Like they can't just be like
Yeah.
out in Iowa growing a bunch of corn.
Except, okay,
That's-
so
I'm asking.
A corn cowboy.
we read Avery Flynn's The Wedding Date Disaster.
Yeah.
Her family owns a giant farm, and I think there was some large animal livestock, right? Don't they talk about the cows?
Yeah, but they don't live on, I mean, but neither one of them live on the farm. If like one of her siblings got a book, I might call it cowboy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm asking. Like, would you have I'm not talking about that specific
Like it
book.
would depend on
Talking
like
about that setting.
how like it would depend on how it's classified and like what the farm and the ranch like does.
So a
You know what I
better
mean?
example would be if we look at, so let's look at Sawyer Bennett's Bluegrass Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not Western because it's really just small town, right? Because it's Kentucky, but it's horses.
I think too with those, like when you get into like racing, like when you get into horse racing and like that's all your farm does, I think that almost gets classified even
different-
further down and those become horse racing books.
Okay.
Or
Only-
or even
only-
if it's like a breeding program, like it's different because honestly, like horse breeding, when it comes to horse farming, it's there's a whole different gamut to it than like a cattle farm or a pig farm. Like there's a different level to it.
Sure. No, I'm
Yeah, and
asking. I think this is, go ahead. What are you saying, Amanda?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, like when you're doing like that high level of competition, because I just read the Cowboy in the Streets by Elizabeth Bright, and they actually raise horses and cattle for like show to sell to other farms. So they do like a little bit of breeding, but they also raise like cattle for like rodeo. So they have like various livestock. So I would definitely classify that as cowboy, but they're not specifically in the racing world. I think the racing world is like different.
Like
so
they
those
are
Elsie
adjacent
Silver
to
books,
the racing world. Like
So-
those Elsie Silver ones, those are not cowboy romances because they bred horses, but they bred race horses. Like they were raising thoroughbreds and racing them.
Well,
So
And
like
they have
I feel like
jockeys.
and they have jockeys, yes. Like that is a completely different classification because like the way in which the lifestyle of that is very different than the cowboy side of it.
Yeah, the commodity that they're selling
Yes.
is
Yes.
different. Okay.
That's a really
makes
good
sense.
word for it, Jenny.
Yep.
No, and so, and I don't have an opinion on this one way or another. Like, I'm not saying like anybody is wrong or anything. I'm genuinely asking these questions because we see it happening all the time. Like, you get a book rec and the Wilds by Kristen Proby's series, The Wilds.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one character in that entire series that is a cowboy that runs the family ranch. The other guy, it's kind of like Catherine Cowles. The other guy owns a he's a firefighter or, owns a construction company and stuff like that. And you'll see people say, well, like, I've read every cowboy romance. And then they show you like Wild Love by Elsie Silver. That's not a cowboy romance. It's Western, but it's really just small town.
Yeah.
So if we go contemporary romance, do we need to go Western, then small town, then cowboy?
I don't think you have to necessarily classify it as a small town because, like, when you're reading those books, you're not reading for the small town element of it. You're reading for, like, the Western aspect to it.
Yeah, I think of it like one of those like Lego sorters where there's all the different holes, and
Yeah.
as you shake it, it goes.
Is really.
And that's kind of what I am foreseeing for us here trying to do is shake it out so that we, for ourselves and our listeners, we define what we're looking for in those cowboy romances. So when you ask for cowboy, you're asking for this. If you want Western, you're asking for this kind of. Does that make sense?
For me, yeah. But I think for me, sometimes, like, when you're in those Westerns, like, I have a hard time classifying them as small town because, like, the farm itself is the size of a small town.
It's
So
its
it's
own
like it's
microcosm.
its own entity. Like, it's like a micro town of its own. So it's like there's no small town to it because they're not in a town.
Yeah.
Like, they have a town, but they have to drive to it because they live on 1,000-acre farm that's 15 minutes from civilization.
Yeah. So
Like,
Yeah, so
growing up, like, I was in the middle
Wait,
of a field.
Leah, just a second.
Like, I wasn't in a small
Yeah.
town.
Let Amanda.
Oh no. I was just gonna say, so I think at that point you go contemporary and then you go Western, small town. They're separate. And you go and you can go cowboy underneath either one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
For
I
me.
would agree.
So would you consider, so let's say, because I know that this series is on your list, Amanda, at least. It's probably on Leah's too. So Jessica Prince, her second gen.
She's not on my list.
I have her first book on my list because Zach runs a ranch, but not all of those books are cowboy.
But those are all on the East Coast, right? Isn't it Virginia?
Yeah, but I think you can be a cowboy on the East Coast. So it would, for me, that would go contemporary small town cowboy.
Okay.
It would, because I think small town and Western, like Leah said, they're separate things because the Westerns, like, typically, like, they're out on a range, they're not necessarily.
The environment's different.
Yeah, they're not in a town per se.
Okay.
Like, an Oklahoma farm is very different than, like, a Pennsylvania farm. But there are huge farms here. Like, there are cowboys essentially, like, with, like, huge farms, like, in these areas. But the classification of, like, the landscape is different. So you don't think of it the same way, but it is at the same time.
I mean, I grew up on a farm with cows. We didn't ride horses, so I wouldn't say that was cowboy, but there were plenty of other people in that area that have cows that ride horses and move cattle, like, from big distances a few times a year. So
yeah, I'm always like behind them in the drop-off line, and I'm like, what time did you get?
So this is going to be even a little, I don't know where I was going.
sorry, you read Jessica Prince,
No, it doesn't
small
matter. I'll come
town,
back to it. It was going to be real niche. Oh, so do you think that if we're talking Western cowboys, that's almost forced proximity? Because civilization is far away.
Yeah.
I think it depends
You think it depends?
on, like, the way they come together, where they're staying, things like that. I think there could be some forced
civilization.
I mean, can she
Like,
ride a horse? Like,
Does she have her own
But, like,
vehicle?
does she have a car
Does
that
she know
can
how to
go
drive the
someplace?
gator?
yeah, right.
I was thinking about that Hannah Cohen book that we read for book club, the second book in the Cherry Peak. He didn't know how to drive stick shift. Like, if you don't know how to drive stick shift, half the time you aren't getting very far on those farms and those ranches.
So I think forced proximity could be part of it, but I think it would depend book to book because, like, that's the thing. If you can't drive a stick and they only have standards on the farm, you're not going anywhere.
So
Or you're popping clutches and stalling the whole time.
So when you read a cowboy romance, what kind of emotional connections are you expecting? Because, so we talk about often in romantic suspense that there's a third character in romantic suspense. So you have the couple, so your female main character, your male main character, and then you have a third main character that is the suspense line, the big bad. So within a cowboy romance, we have the male main character, the female main character, but then you have the ranch, that it's almost its own entity that requires time, attention, dedication. So what kind of emotional connections are we expecting in cowboy romances, or what kind of emotional connections do you like in your cowboy romances? Jenni, do you have any? Because I know you're like,
Okay. I am not a big fan of the cowboy, right? But yeah, I expect them to be like exhausted. Like I usually expect like either a financial or like staffing issue, like something's difficult, which is usually what brings in the like other person. Like they have a need for a nanny
Yeah.
or they have a need for a horse trainer or whatever it may be.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Amanda? What kind of emotional connections do you like or do you expect to see?
I'd like to have some kind of emotional connection to the land or to the animals. Like I want that to be present, like especially, if it's a Western, like I like those sweeping descriptions of the landscape. Like I like to hear about, the animals. I think that's kind of what I expect anytime there's a cowboy romance.
There should be mention of fences in a cowboy romance.
They need to, somebody has to mend the fences.
Becky wants to know they're not roaming free.
Right? I do not want your cows in the street, but I also expect some
There's
kind
no
of
streets though.
right. Well,
There's
or
road-
into
I
the
mean-
neighbor's property. I also always expect some kind of animal to get loose,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that's a given.
I think there's usually like that familial connection, like either it's like begrudgingly, like they are not happy about like how their parents have set things up, or they
Well,
are
it's like they
very,
come home because like they have to, but they never wanted to be like in charge
yeah,
of things, or like they are in charge of things and they have been forever, but like they feel like
Yeah.
they're stuck. Like I want those emotional like learning things where it's like they fall in love with the land all over again type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so what other tropes do you expect to see in cowboy romance? So we talked a little bit about found family. The cowboy romances of the 80s and 90s and even the early aughts are not the same as the cowboy romances that we're getting right now. They
No.
definitely have had an evolution.
Yeah.
But what kind of tropes do you expect to see in your cowboy romances? Or do you have a favorite trope you like to see in a cowboy romance?
I don't know if it's my favorite, but I think fish out of water does really well if you're bringing someone in from the outside, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's face it, you're not meeting a whole lot of people on a
Yeah.
ranch that's owned by your family, depending on how far town is away, and like it's probably a small town, so you probably know everybody and you probably dated them at some point. So I think the
Especially
fish
if you
out
have
of
a
water
hoe.
works really well.
Do you have a favorite fish out of water?
I don't know if I have a favorite fish out of water.
I think that
I wasn't
Maggie Gates
prepared.
dust storm does
Oh,
really.
yes, Dust Storm. Yes. I was like, I was not prepared for that question, but yes,
Sorry.
that whole series is on my list. So
You can shout
yeah.
you can shout books out that fit into those, whatever I'm
It
asking you.
just my brain, you said, what's your favorite fish out of
yeah.
water? And my brain went blank. So no, yes, but that book is on my list.
It is. Okay, so let's just go into it. Let's start talking about some of these. So we obviously know there are popular cowboy romances, right? We're all
Yeah.
aware of who is the trending, and I'm really not going to go with Elsie Silver, right? Like, because
But she's not cowboy,
she has
she's
two.
Western.
She has two. She has a rodeo
Oh.
rider, and then the brother owns the family ranch.
And it's like one of those situations where if you go to Amazon and click the Western Frontier Romance, like every one of her books is on that list.
Every one of them, but they are
But I
Western
will say,
and they are small town.
like, that is one thing that Amazon is doing. Like, there's like, because I was looking and there's no cowboy classification anymore. It's Western and Frontier or a Western romance.
Yeah, and I think she classifies as Western. So
I think she does
She
too.
personally does. It's readers and influencers that are like, give me the cowboys. Sister, those are not cowboys. Like if you're saying, this is my favorite cowboy romance, and you're holding up something like there ain't one single cowboy and one single horse in that entire book. He played hockey and she was a runaway bride. Like,
yeah.
One of these things is not like the other.
Okay, so let's just start diving into this. Out of the popular cowboy authors that we might not have ever talked about, do you have a favorite? Like, do you automatically, and I know, Amanda, your oppositional defiance disorder forces you to not read the popular books, but maybe you read them before they got popular.
Well, I think I would say like Maggie Gates is the Griffith brothers falls into that now.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, from what I'm watching on, I'm obviously like I'm not on TikTok looking at popular like books. I mean, I
But
hear
those
about them
books
here
that
and
get
there,
picked
but
up are popular.
I think now that that series has gotten picked up, I could say that that's probably, the biggest one that I have on my list, maybe.
Okay. That's like the known, everybody talks about
Yeah.
cowboy references. Jenni, do you have any of the, like, we know Jenni is like,
Not a single one.
Jenni is
don't
anti the
either.
populace.
I'm not purposely picking up a cowboy for the cowboy. I'm sorry.
No, and I think that's
Well-
fair. And again, Leah also has oppositional defiance disorder. If it says best of book talk, she likely, if she doesn't get it before it gets that tag, she's not touching it.
I may Leah it, but I will not read it fully.
Okay.
Just to see what the fuss is about. And 9 times out of 10, the fuss is not worth it. Just saying.
She looks up the quote that was on TikTok.
I do look up the quote and then I'll read like the chapter before and after, and most of the time I'm left disappointed, so I move on.
Okay.
Because there's
I do
levels
have
to the
one.
Leah.
I do have Root Bound by Tara DeWitt, and I don't think that one. I think that one's getting republished, so I don't know if it's there yet or if that counts. But that would probably be the only other one that I have on my list.
Yeah, but she's kind of an enigma because people
Yeah.
love her forever.
I love that book though because it's like
Just saying.
it's I love all her books. I mean,
That
let's be
felt
honest.
a little of like Lenny of Mice and Men moment right there for you, Leah. Do you know what I'm talking
have
about?
those.
Like,
What'd she say?
I love this puppy and I will love this puppy forever. Like, your love for Tara DeWitt, like, are there
She writes
restraining
a really
orders?
freaking good book. Like, honestly.
I'm just
Like,
a little
we
concerned
just were
for
talking about
safety.
how many copies of her books we have. Like,
Yeah.
of the same book.
Have
at
you read
that.
Root Bound yet?
I have not read Rootbound.
Oh,
It is
I
on
need
my
to.
TBR. Because
It's
I should have
very
bought
good.
it on Double Kindle Day.
I
She
know
has
we should have.
Damn
she
it.
has that whole
It
she has
comes
that
around
whole
like every month. I think you'll be
sorry,
okay.
yeah.
Honestly, it's one of those ones where, like, I can't afford to be in a hangover that she's going to put me in again for a while.
And this one's too, it's like a going home, but it's like her dad who like left her and her sister, and now his ranch has like a TV show that's like a Western TV show, and she has to go and take pictures at this place, and nobody knows like that she's
The dead
coming
messy.
and related to this whole
Yeah.
family. She falls in
Like,
love
I
with
will be a hot mess
the main
reading that
cowboy.
book.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like, I don't know if I'm like in my feels of life or what the frick is going on with me, but like, I read a book
Sorry,
the
I
other
made her cry
day
talking about it.
and I was like crying through the entire book. I don't know what was wrong with me. I think I was PMSing a little bit, but
I'm
anything's possible.
starting to be concerned. There are some red flags, like pink little red flags, like waving
Oh, be
around over
quiet.
here.
You wouldn't know what to do with me without me.
This is very true. I have Wild for You, which is book 1 for the Wilds of Montana by Kristen Proby. He owns the family ranch, or is running it first, taking it over from his parents. And then the only other popular author that is on my list would be Hannah Cohen's Strung Along. He is a country music singer that goes back to his back home after some vocal cord injury, and he helps run the farm for his family. And there's a Highland cow and a special shed for the Highland cow. Like, anyway.
I love a Highland cow.
It's
They're
so freaking
stinking
adorable.
cute.
His grandpa is like the oldest, crotchety, grumpy curmudgeon of a man. And he's like, why the fuck are you doing with that cow? And he bought it because the girl, the heroine, is obsessed with Highland cows. And so he builds its own little shelter barn, and it
That's
becomes a
what
hobby
spoiled a
cow.
cow.
Yeah.
I mean, they're adorable. I mean, I
They
get
are
it.
adorable. I actually was doom scrolling one day and I saw where you can like adopt one.
Okay. You know, you can buy mini
I did
Highland
not do
cows and they
that.
can live in your backyard.
Um,
No.
yeah, I'm not doing that
I
either.
just got an Ollie. Same thing is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think a cute cow like is definitely a draw. That's the whole like with the Griffith brothers, like they have the Mickey the cow who they put pool noodles on his horns. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I'd give
For
me like a
safety's
cute
sake.
cow. Like I mean, yeah, because he's knocking stuff over. Yeah.
Hilarious.
But he just roams around, does what he wants.
Cows are adorable, but I do not want to clean up after them.
No.
I have a dog. That's enough.
Yeah, I have a rule at my house: no more mouths.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a smart rule. Okay, so let's just start going through here. Give us your one of your top cowboy romances or westerns. Just tell us, is it cowboy or is it western? And then or is it cowboy small town or is it western cowboy? We'll kind of differentiate it that way. I would say probably don't go into crazy over the top detail about each of the books. Just, maybe like 2 sentences, Leah. 2 sentences
most
per
of these
book.
like I've read a while ago, so
Just
there's not a lot of sentences
just the
happening.
basics. So we'll start
Well,
with
I will start then.
Oh, I was going to start with Jenni. I told Jenni she could start.
Okay, Jenni can start.
Okay.
Whatever.
So because again, I do not read these very much, but Kelly Fox has become like my May Marvel.
Fair.
So
Yes.
and she has 3 series that qualify in this. She has the Rebel Sky Ranch, which is a ranch, and at least one of the characters in each book works on the ranch. Then she has a spinoff, and she describes it as a Central Texas search and rescue ranch where redemption meets murder swoon. So
And
there's
it's gay.
Yes, it is.
And it's gay.
And then the Central Texas series, I have read all 3 of those. And again, this is more like big city gays meet cowboy gays.
Okay.
So fish out of water gays.
Yeah, you get like in the
Fish out
first
of
book,
water
the guy.
gays.
You were thinking it.
The first book, the like guy is like trying to fix his roof, and like the ladder falls, so he's just like hanging there, and his neighbor's like on his horse, like looking at him like, dude.
And he saves him from his horse.
Nice.
He does.
Yeah,
Okay.
you and Heather both have me like I mean, I've had those books on my TBR, so they sound all really good.
Yeah.
I love all of her books. She's consistently hit for me.
Okay,
so.
but quick question, because I bring this up because we had Matt Wardell on for book club and he made a statement and I'm just curious. Are there women in this universe?
There are women in this universe. They are usually like kick-ass women.
Nice.
And yes.
Nice. Because that's something that he brought our attention to, and now I'm kind of like, huh, yeah.
They're usually like the prequels. Like they set up things and like.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Okay. Amanda, give us a top series or book and just tell us where it falls in the spectrum.
Okay, I would say one of my favorites is Make Me Shiver by Marie Johnston. And she's more the cowboy than he is. She's a cowgirl, I guess. I don't like, I don't know. I know I said cow person the other day when we were having a meeting, but because she's more like the rancher. She went home after basically he was just like not paying attention to her. They lived in the city and she was like, well, I'm done with this. I'm going home. And it's Archer and Lainey. I don't think I said their names, but that's one of my favorite Marie Johnston books. But she goes home and he actually has to help her get a cow out of like a ravine or something and like messes up
I thought it was
his
a pig.
suit. Is it a pig? No, it's a cow.
I think it's a pig.
Is it a pig?
No, I think it's a runaway pig. Like they have to chase the pig around town, but it is stuck in the ravine and he gets all muddy.
Whatever. It's
an animal.
It's an animal.
It's a farm animal.
It's a mammal animal.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, like that's one of my favorites.
So in that series too, we get the Make Me Dream also, where he is running the family ranch. And it's his sister's best friend. So that's also a good one in that series.
Yes,
and she recently renamed that series, and I can't remember what it's called, but originally it was The Oil Barons, but I don't know what it's called now.
Yeah, and Make Me Blush is also a cowboy. He's running a ranch as well.
Well, and she has one in her oil, like the Oil King series, which is not the Oil Kings anymore.
Yeah.
They actually both own ranches, but hers is like decrepit. Because her dad was...
The one I'm talking about is Coal Haven is the new name for Make Me Shiver, Make Me Blush, all those. It's Coal Haven.
Okay.
That's the town. The town of Coal Haven.
Okay.
So I recommend any of those.
Yeah. Marie Johnston does a great job. And she fits the Western too. Yes. But she does do cowboy very well. Leah, what you got?
The Wishing Well series by Melanie Shawn. It is a mix. There are some cowboys. There's some just Western vibes to it. It's like the first few books are all family, and then it kind of branches out to other people in the town. There's lots of different tropes, different relationships, and it's just a really well done series. I enjoy it a lot.
I'm going to go with A Cowboy to Remember, which is part of Rebecca Witherspoon's series, The Cowboys of California, which is a little different because we don't necessarily always get ranchers in California, but Middle California has tons.
Yes.
Don't you remember like the dairy campaign that happy cows are from California and stuff there for a while? But I really like those books, and if you've never read Rebecca Witherspoon, you are missing out because she does emotion and spice very well. So, Jenni, you would like those books. Those are books that are very Jenni approved. And they're Black cowboys. So,
yes,
you get some interracial relationships and also some Black relationships. So, okay, Jenni, what do you got next?
I'm really looking forward to the Rainbow Ranch series.
Is that M.A. Wardell, Cleo Evans, and Max?
Stirring Spurs. Like he's been teasing it forever.
It was if Brokeback Mountain got a happily ever after. Is what he keeps saying. And I'm like, that's the best tagline.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that series. Yes. Agreed. Okay, Amanda, what do you got?
My next one, this was new to me this week. It's The Wildest Ride by Marcella Bell. I saw actually Danica Nava recommend this on Threads, so I picked it up. It opens, so she's the rancher. She actually owns a ranch that has sheep. And it opens with her like roping sheep. Like that's how the book opens.
Fun.
She was a former rodeo person who had to kind of stop and take care of the ranch. She's also, I'm sorry, her name's Lillian Island. I keep forgetting people's names. This is Western. Her grandmother like enrolls her in like a TV like rodeo challenge, like reality show, right? And so she goes and meets like a former like professional bull rider. He was actually from like the city, so he has like no ranching experience, but they go up against each other in these challenges and they're neck and neck like the whole book, and it's really good. And she is Black and Indigenous and he is Black and Tejano. So nice. It kind of goes into all the different like various ways that they were both in the rodeo circuit.
And the cultural stuff.
Yeah, I'm not describing it really well, but yeah.
No, I mean you did earlier this week enough that I picked the audiobook up out of Hoopla and have it queued ready to go. I'm excited to check this out.
I liked it a lot. I mean, it goes really deep into stuff like for the rodeo, the riding the bulls, like the roping. They have to do like they actually have to go on like a cattle drive and drive cattle. It's really well done. I liked it a lot.
Excellent. Okay, Leah, what you got up next?
Okay, my next one is actually Janice Whitaker. She has her Cowboys of Moss Creek. They are cowboys. And actually a couple of her books, the women own the farm. And so like the one book, there's so many, there's like 10 or 11 books in that series, and I think she has one, maybe two more that she's writing. So there's a lot of different like tropes, different options, and different like setups to things. But like her one, she owns the farm. He's her like farm, the the head ranch hand dude.
Yeah,
What is
her
that called?
foreman, her foreman,
Foreman.
Her foreman. Yes.
I think something like that.
Yes. And like so there's that whole like power dynamic where she's the boss and he is like in charge, and but it's a really well done series. Like there's some police off, like the sheriff is one book and just the different dynamics, but it is like the all the Western like aspect to it, but there's definitely cowboys and cattle and things like
Yeah,
that.
and you get the small town too with that
Mhm.
series, which is nice.
Yeah.
So you get like a big mix of a lot of things.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
and
like a really nice blend.
And I think her stuff falls in line. If you liked Lauren Landish's Cowboys, I think you would very much easily jump over to Janice Whitaker.
Yes.
They are definitely comps. So I actually found a new author that I really, really liked this week when writing Cowboys, and that's Ivy Jackson. She has the Rescue Ranch series. There is a cattle ranch side of it, and then there is a rescue farm that is mismatch of animals that come to the farm. Dogs to cows to horses to llamas. But this book was, it was emotional, it was angsty, it deals with grief and loss of a sibling to a chronic illness, and it just really hit a lot of beats. And it was like, I'm desperate to get ready to start book 2. Like, it just hit some things that I hadn't had in a while, and it was previously after a book that I read that I ended up DNFing that had medical issues in it that were just dumb. They were just dumb. But this book, read Ivy Jackson's book 1 is Burned. Andrew's on, it's a Wander cover. Andrew's on the cover.
Ooh,
So
nice.
very nice. It's, yeah. So I really, Rescue Ranch, I really liked that one. Jenni, what do you got?
Sorry, I got the image of that zebra being rescued when you said the like rescue ranch for weird animals.
Seriously.
Oh, like in that, like the helicopter
Yeah,
rescue
like
of the
sitting
zebra.
in a little
He's like
hammock.
hanging in like the like hammock.
Okay.
Yeah.
People are uncaffeinated and unmedicated this evening.
Yes.
Back to a book. No
Yes.
zebras.
If Jenni has any more.
I do have one. Doesn't stand a chance. This is by Ali Parker. It's the Sister Pack book 1, and basically he's the billionaire with the ranch and she's the marketing guru, and they like power dynamic fight it out.
Okay. What do you have there, Amanda?
My next one is Helen Gone by Tal Bauer. It is definitely Western. They are out in the wilds, like out in the mountains, on a mountain range. This one starts with a murder from the murdered person's POV. So I was confused for right away.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I would like that.
I got sucked right in. And it's just a little over 200 pages, so it's a really fast read.
Their point of view when they're dead, or like
as they're being murdered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, even
Yes.
better.
Yeah.
That was horrible the way that came out, but
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
but yeah. But this is it's the closest town. It's called Timber Creek, Montana, but they call the mountain range the Crazy Mountains because all kinds of stuff crazy happens up there. But there's ranch hands are disappearing, cattle are being stolen, so they send up this guy Everett Dawson, who is they call him a stock detective. So he's basically kind of like a detective that goes like all over the western part and investigates crimes. Law Jackson is like one of the ranch. He runs one of the ranches, and you're not sure if he's got something to do with it for a long time. He sucks you in. It's just like keeps you guessing. But there's a point where they're on the same horse and they're naked because they're running away from people who are trying to kill them. And it's really good.
People are naked on horseback. Okay.
That would hurt.
Leah,
Just say.
let go. Let go, Leah. Suspend
Okay,
the
so
belief.
my next one is Brenda Jackson, The Rancher Returns. Honestly, if you
Brenda
go
Jackson.
through, there are tons of actual cowboys in the category world. So if you want a
Yes.
cowboy, go to category. There's lots of them.
Maisie Yates, Brenda Jackson.
Um, Rita Heron or Heron had like 10 or 12 of them. Like
Yeah.
when I was going, like when I just searched Cowboy Romance, like there was so many categories. But Brenda Jackson, Rancher Returns, is book one in her one of the Westmoreland series. I don't even remember. The
Stacey
Westmoreland
Kennedy.
Legacy.
Stacey
There's so
Kennedy
many.
also has category cowboys.
Yes. Uh-huh. But this one, so Gavin is a SEAL. He is gone. He gets a phone call saying that his grandmother is allowing somebody to do like digging and searching for things on the ranch, and he wants nothing to do with that. So he comes home and he tells her he's going to sleep with her, and then it just is this chaos spiral from there. But it's category, and it's Brenda Jackson, so you know it's going to be good.
You do know it's going to be good. If you are looking for over the top, spicy cowboys that are Western, but it's Nebraska. Okay. Jillian Neal, her Camden Ranch series. Like when
That's the one where you're like, I had to skip because there
I
was
read
too
book
much.
one and I'm like, these people never stop banging. Like, seriously. He is on the rodeo circuit, but he has the family Camden Ranch. She is also on the rodeo circuit. Things happen. She goes home with him. Anyway, but when these people start having the sex, they never stop having the sex. But I cannot. And then Jillian also has a series that's called Oklahoma Sky, or Holder County. And it takes place in Oklahoma. And it's kind of a mix. It actually talks about the second, I think it's the second book. He's a firefighter, and it talks about he's a very specific kind of firefighter that fights the prairie fires. The prairie fires, yeah. So they help do the control burning, but then if one gets out and jumps, and they have to go in and try to save the cattle and stuff like that. So Jillian Neal, I really do enjoy her books. So, but you have to be in the mood for banging. So, okay, we're gonna do two more. Jenni, do you have any more? I mean, we probably
My
can
last.
go, we can probably go
Okay,
a couple more, but
Yeah, this is my last one. Racing Heart by Brenna Brooke. This is on my TBR, but he's kind of like the city girl, and he's the ex like military guy that had to come back for his dad's funeral.
okay. I get a theme with you, Jenni. There must be like emotional turmoil in order for you to read a cowboy.
Correct.
Correct.
Because I do not like animals or the outside.
Okay. Yes. Amanda, what do you have?
I mentioned it earlier, but the Lodestar Ranch series by Elizabeth Bright, Bonnie actually recommended that book to me. So I knew it was going to have the ranching part right going in.
Right.
And it does. So James is the female main character. She is a horse trainer at her father's farm in California, and he's passed her over a couple of times to be a head trainer. She gets fed up with it and leaves and takes a job at Lodestar Ranch working for Adam and his family. They kind of have a little meet cute before he realizes that she's coming to work as their new trainer. He thinks she's a man because of her name. His dad like lets him think it, and it's pretty funny.
Oh, I always like when that happens.
Yeah, so that's really funny. And then he's a single dad. His so trigger warnings, his mom and his ex-wife actually died from cancer prior to the book. So there's a lot of emotion going on there. I liked it a lot. It was really funny. She already has, she's made like two really good girlfriends in the town. They have like a sewing circle where I mean, it's pretty funny. I liked it a lot. So I'm definitely going to read book two.
Book two. What do you got, Leah?
So I have the book one, Spurred. It's part of the Steel Ranch series by Vanessa Vale. It's either thruples or why choose. I don't think there's any just male, female. I think it's all like multiples. But so the premise of the series is there's five sisters who did not know they were sisters, and they inherit their dad's ranch when he passes away. And I think most of the heroes, it's been a while since I've read all of the books. Most of the heroes either work on the ranch or like in the small town where the ranch, small town. No, people can't see my air quotes there. Small town, like where the ranch is located. But it's a Vanessa Vale. They're shorter but delightful, and
Yeah. She has
just
this
like that new like half sister dynamic that they're working through.
She has this series that she wrote with Helen Hart called The Billion Heirs, like inherit heirs. And it is four brothers that inherit, and they didn't know they were brothers, and they inherit their father's ranch. Only one of them is working on the ranch at the time, and the other three have to come in, and they have to work and live on the ranch for 1 year in order to inherit.
Oh, I like books like that.
I do too.
And
She has
it's
her
messy.
Bridgewater Bride series too, which like it's set. It's not historical, but it's like historical at the same time. It's 1800s.
It is That's historical.
Yes. So, but it's all like mail
Frontier.
order brides, frontier like that. Like many of them are cowboys or ranchers, but like,
well, and
she just writes a really good story. Like
Helen
that
Hart
too.
writes Colorado ranches too. In her,
she has those ones.
Is it her Bishop Brothers series?
I think so.
That each couple is 3 books. So like and there's like 30 books in this series. Like
no, it's just Helen Hart. So there's going to be a lot.
There's a lot, but they're suspense, a little bonkers, pretty sexy, well-written stories is what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So, and they're often in the library. So, you can just kind of, a lot of times they're checkout now because they're bonkers. They're like,
well, and they're a few years old too. So.
Right.
So you might get a Cliffy, but then you can get the next book right away.
You can binge it. The series is complete, so you can binge it. No problem. So an author that's not often talked about that I really liked her cowboy books, and Laura mentioned it over in Discord, and that is Carly Bloom's Once Upon a Cowboy series. It's actually fairy tale retellings told as Texas cowboys. If you enjoyed Kennedy Fox when they were writing cowboys, if you enjoyed those books, you would absolutely love Carly Bloom. But these are better, more solid written stories. My favorite in the series is Cowboy Come Home. It is a Cinderella retelling. And Carly has just a really great voice. They are not super spicy. So it is forever 2018, forever 2000. So there's definitely kind of that trad pub glaze.
I do like a retelling though.
These are really well done. Okay. Do you have another one, Jenny? Nope. Okay. Amanda, do you got another one?
I was just gonna briefly mention, like, Melissa Foster has her Bradens and Montgomerys. She has cowboys scattered throughout that very long
Her whiskeys
series.
too.
Yeah, her whiskeys too. So, she's always like a solid pick for me if I just want like a Colorado or like her Virginia, because she has actual ranchers, and then she has people who train horses and that kind of thing. So there's always a good mix.
We should also, Amanda, you and I should give a shout out to the Flying Diamond 5 Cowboy Romances, by Bonnie Poirier. You've worked on book 4. Well, technically you've worked on all of them now, haven't you?
1, 2, and 4. I have not. I didn't do anything with 3.
3, because I had done 3. So
Yeah.
I have been on team for 3 and 4. The 4th book comes out this week on Wednesday, the 25th.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so those are really good stories. There's a little bit of a suspense element to it and an overarching storyline. And
the ranching is correct.
The ranching is correct. Wouldn't you say?
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, that's what I said when she recommended like another series to me. I was like, well, I'm definitely going to pick it up because I know she knows what she's talking about.
Well, that's like I read that Serena Ackroyd. It's not Serena Ackroyd, it's the G.A. Mazurki, like that name. And I was like, I really like it. Becky's like, but Bonnie said the ranching is wrong. I'm like, but I don't understand the ranching. And it seems like a lot, but
it's like me reading a sports romance. I'm like, go team, yay sports. I don't understand that.
And it
there's
wasn't
too many people
wrong
on the
enough
ice.
that like it wasn't an issue for me. Like if it's really wrong that I can notice.
It has to do with the size of the spread and the number of cattle that they're running on the spread.
Yeah.
Like any of us would know, but Bonnie knows. So
yes.
But I did want to give a shout out to the Flying Diamond 5 Cowboy Romances.
Yes, and I think number 4, which is not out yet, but I think Ryder's my favorite. So
is Ryder your favorite?
I think so.
I really liked book 3 too. So
yeah,
because she's a single mom with a child that's hard of hearing, and he is grumpy but dumb. And Jenni, you worked on this book too on 4, right?
Yep.
Jenni worked on book 4 too. So
yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, I'm the only like holdout there.
You're the only holdout.
It's a really good series.
Okay, Leah, what do you got?
Shockingly, Susan Stoker has a cowboy.
Yes.
Ironically, I came across it because I was making a TikTok to post the other day, and I was like, oh, he's a cowboy. So it's Justice for Boone, and he owns a cattle ranch.
Okay.
But yeah, so Hayden is his heroine. She is one of the sheriff's deputies, and there's like a domestic dispute call where they get called out to his ranch, and things happen. And then there's the typical suspense, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Susan Stoker. That's not somebody you would think cowboy.
Cowboy does not come to mind when you say Susan Stoker, so
I forgot about that one actually, yeah.
Honestly, I did too until I was like doing like the page flips and looking for quotes the other day when I was putting the TikToks because I do Susan's TikToks.
Another series that I really liked, Gillian Stone, her Bridgestones of Montana series is really, really good. It's a sibling series, but it takes place around their ranch in Montana. Book 1, he's a country music star that's come home. That's a second chance. The second book is a sister. You get the guy that runs the actual ranch. His book is out now, and that's book 5. But they all have some kind of job on the ranch. Maybe book 4 might be the only one that he is only kind of slightly connected to the ranch. But like one sister comes home, she falls in love with the foreman. The other sister comes home. It's a not his baby. That's book 2. It's not his baby.
Oh, I like a not his baby.
Yeah, yeah. And he's a former rodeo star that comes home because his sister and brother-in-law had passed away in a car accident, and he's raising his twin nieces on his sister's ranch. And it's really, really good. I really like, but I'm a Julia Stone fan. So, I'm going to recommend her books anytime I get a chance. Is there any other titles or books? Because I know I have 2 more, but does anyone else have any others? They feel the need.
I have a couple that I can mention. So actually Maya Alden, who is an author where they're always like full of angst. There's usually like other women or other men issues. Like they're a little chaotic, and it's one of those authors where I just can't stop reading. But she has one coming out. It comes out in the beginning of July, I think, but I'm very excited for it. It's called Wrong Ride Home. So he grew up on a ranch and his dad has passed away. She is the trainer, but we find out, and it's in like the teasers and the blurb, she was his dad's mistress's daughter. Not the dad's like daughter, but so she was
Okay.
born and he was born, and the mom and the dad got
Oh, okay.
together while he
Gotcha.
was still married to dude's like mom, but then they got together when they were teenagers and then they broke up and he left town. And so he's coming home. And so these are how these books all are, and I am there for it. I'm really excited for it though, but like I said, it doesn't come out for a little bit still.
I have The Cowboys of Nighthawk by Kayla Gross. These are spicy and plus size, absolute cowboys, ranchers. The daughters or the women also own like the horses and stuff. They're really well done. If you're looking for old school cowboy romances, Lorelei James and her Rough Rider series, it dabbles in rodeo, it dabbles in ranches and cowboys, and there's some thruples and some couples and lots of spice.
I have Lorraine Heath's historical
So do I.
cowboys on my list too.
And so so for historicals, you have to be careful. Lorraine Heath does it very well, treats it appropriately. There are not the stereotypes that we often, and wording and verbiage that we often see in older historical cowboys. Someone else that the only one I would recommend is Prince Charming or For the Roses by Julie Garwood. Again, those two were published recent enough that language is on track without being offensive. Like, I would not recommend a Joanna Lindsay cowboy to anybody. I wouldn't recommend a Jude Devereaux cowboy to anyone at this time, just because some things did not age well.
Yeah.
No.
But those books by those authors, I think, are okay. Kelly Elliott, her Meet Me in Montana series. Erica Kelly writes Western and cowboy. Some of them own ranches, some of them own resorts.
Yeah, she has a pretty vast like catalog of subgenres.
I also tried Ashley James for the first time. She writes the More Men series. Book one is Finn. These are wide.
Okay.
So I bought it and tried it and I really enjoyed it. And Heather had read it and liked it. So, another new author that I tried, MJ Hendricks, her Redford Ranch series. That was, I did not complete it. I read 20%, would continue on, but I was trying to get enough authors that I had an idea and I wasn't telling you all the same.
We got stuck in Mafia.
Well, and I'll tell you what. So Mafia was disappointing, right? Like I did a lot of starting and stopping and DNFing over in Mafia. It was quite disappointing, to be honest. I only came across 2 in the Cowboys that I picked up. Like, Danielle had recommended, what's her name?
No, she likes the Bailey Hannah books.
No, not Bailey Hannah.
Not Bailey Hannah.
She does
Paisley
like
Hope.
those too, but
I like the Bailey Hannah books. Paisley Hope, maybe?
No, it was, hold on, I'm going to look real quick because I have it. Amber Palmer, Between the Pines.
Oh.
I really enjoyed the first 25% of that and will complete that book. But so I liked that. But like I tried Ava Hunter. I would skip book 1 because it's stupid. But I really liked, it was just dumb. It was
medical. Medical was the problem,
well,
right?
Yeah.
Or was it all good?
She's mad at.
She has, it's SVT, like the alternating
Yeah.
heartbeats, and she can't, if her heart gets too fast. So legit, I'm going to spoil this. So if you are going to like this book, you're going to want to forward a little bit. She legit, her pulse gets out of control. Her heart rate gets out of control. and she dies. He has to do compressions after they had sex. The first time he gives her the first time he gives her an orgasm, her heart starts to beat and she has to stop them and be like, oh, gotta take a break. Gotta go potty or something. And it was just like, are you kidding me, people?
Yeah.
Like, your heart rate going too high could kill you. Your mother died and your aunt died from this. Wouldn't you? And he's so stupid. It's 80% when he's giving her CPR that he realizes she has a health problem.
Oh, something might be wrong.
Right? Anyway, the writing was really good, though, and I would check out book 2. I just think the premise of book 1 was fucking stupid.
There you go.
But I'm not going to give up hope.
I don't really know what to say to that.
I'm not going to give up hope. Another one that didn't work for me and it recently got picked up was Live Ranch Love by Emma Lucy. She's British trying to write Canadian Western cowboy, and I don't think she's ever stepped foot outside London. Like,
well, I would look that up just because
it doesn't take 5 minutes to get to the Walmart, and she never says the Walmart, but it's fine. Like, also,
most people don't say the Walmart.
Also, it was my book of the week last week, the Cowboy Colony Mail Order Bride series by Ursa Dax. 10 out of 10 recommend those. Tentacle penises. That's all I will say. Tentacle penises. Anyway, I loved them. They were great.
They look good.
They do. I like the covers.
Are
They're really cute.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
So that this episode is not 2 hours long, and Mike does not murder us. If anybody had any mixtape songs, we'll put them in the on the shelf show notes because I didn't do that part.
I forgot about that this week.
Great.
I did too.
Well, everyone's gonna know what my song is.
What's your song, Jenni? Just tell us.
Good Looking by Dixon Dallas. It definitely fits my rainbow ride.
Queer cowboy romances. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so guess what, guys? It's that time.
It's that time.
It's that time for book of the week. Book of the week time. I don't care who goes first. Somebody go first.
Not everybody at once. My book of the week is Seen in Flames by Allie Winters. I have not finished this yet, but he's a firefighter. She is like taking over a bakery. Their parents are not dead. They are on a 6-month-long cruise around the world. So her and her 2 sisters are running the bakery, but he is a firefighter that about 12 years ago set their bakery, which also happens to be where they live, on fire.
On fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one looks really cute.
What do you got, Amanda?
I've mostly been reading arcs and cowboy stuff, so I went back to an arc that I had that just released last week. It's Home Run by Lulu Moore. It's the last book in her New York Lions series, so the baseball books are done. I'm sad about it, but I'm excited for what's happening next. But it's Tanner and Millie's book. Tanner's been pursuing her like the whole series. This accidental pregnancy book, which is not always my favorite, but I loved this one. So, but I love that series. So,
excellent, awesome. What about you, Leah? What's your book of the week?
Why do you say it like that?
Because I'm sure this is going to be ridiculous.
It's Caught Up by Nevessa
it's
Allen.
Not ridiculous. Shocking.
It's not ridiculous at all. So I did the audiobook, and I will say like the first like 15-20%, it was kind of background noise for me. Like there wasn't a lot going on. There was a lot of introduction to the characters and things like that. It wasn't bad. I was enjoying it enough that I didn't turn it off. But I loved this book. I did not read Lights Out, just as a preference or like saying that. So I did not go into this book with any expectations, but I love Teddy so much.
Right, you're a Teddy stan.
But I thought the book was really well done. I like the story. Nevessa Allen has a great knack for storytelling. Like the characters were full and there was a lot of depth to them. And I enjoyed the premise of the story. Like she is a sex worker and like her goal in life is to provide care and safety for people to continue on things like that. And I mean, he's a little morally gray, sometimes lives in the black, but he wants out of that life. And so it's like him trying to like get out of it. But I really enjoyed it. I think that, like I said, she writes a solid story that pulls you in. And I thought the narration was top notch.
Excellent. Excellent. So mine is a cowboy book. It's the Rawhide Ranch series, but these are little fun cowboy novellas.
Yours is ridiculous.
Mine is the ridiculous one this week. I think the Rawhide Ranch is like the submissive ranch. Is that what it's called? Did you look it up?
I think it might be.
Something like that. Milking Mina by Sinster Ange, which is Golden Angel's alternate super spicy name. And look at you guys, you cannot see Jenni's face, but it is saying all the words out loud. It was ridiculously kinky, ridiculously spicy, 150 pages of kinky, sexy goodness. So if you need a fun fact, it's 20 books in this series, you guys, of all
But it's a collaboration series, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, okay.
All kinky cowboys, all quick fun reads.
Yes, it is the submissives of Rawhide Ranch.
The submissive.
So you basically go to Rawhide Ranch to live out your kink.
Yeah. So.
And Mina's is being a
milking.
hue cow.
Yeah. It was delightful. It was sexy.
It's on my Kindle. I can't wait to read it.
10 out of 10 recommend. But just if you need a spicy read, maybe you need something just to perk things up, get out of a slump. I recommended it to Heather today because she said she was in a slump.
Perk things up when you're talking that way.
You know. Anyway. So Patreon swag pack sponsors for this month of June are authors J.D. Carruthers and Elaine Trommel. June and July swag will be mailed the 1st of July. Next week, we are back live 9 p.m. on the YouTube to celebrate our 5th anniversary of Buzzing About Romance with a special Ask Us Anything episode. If you want to leave a question, we will leave that form on our website open until Thursday, and then I will close it on Thursday so that we can sort through the questions and get them in a doc in case we have to prepare stuff. Because, guys, some of those questions came in today.
Oh, yeah.
They're asking some hard stuff.
Oh, we're going to have to actually look at them ahead of time.
Some of them, like, one of them, is there a book that you like read that you can't stop thinking about like in the course of the podcast? And like my first thought is I'm still angry about Megan Quinn, but that's probably not the answer the person wants.
I mean, yeah, I think I could answer that without having to dive too hard into it, maybe.
I mean, Savor It still lives rent-free in my life.
Yeah. So also, we have some fun and exciting announcements happening this week in celebration of our 5th anniversary. If you're a part of Patreon, you will get a glimpse of some fun and exciting stuff there.
Can I just say this has been like the hardest thing for Becky not to spill the beans early?
Yeah. We partnered with InstaLove Author Services for this exciting glow up. So we cannot wait to show you all. If you're part of Patreon, you will see it today when this episode drops. Everybody else will get it on Wednesday the 25th, which is our actual 5th anniversary. So anyway, I'm super excited. So whether your cowboy wears Wranglers or Carhartts, one thing for sure is there is nothing like a romance that knows how to ride into your heart and stay there. We hope this episode added some new names to your cowboy TBR and gave you a fresh look at what makes this subgenre shine. Make sure to tag us with your favorite cowboy romances or authors you think we should know about. And don't forget, we're still in the thick of the Mixtape Summer Reading Challenge, so grab a book that fits the country love song vibe and join us. Anyway, if you have an author that we missed in this cowboy episode, send us your recs. You can send it to us via DM or email. We would love to personally add more cowboys to our TBRs because, you know, Jenni, you can't say no. Stop it.
Jenny's just sitting here shaking her head.
It's okay. It's okay.
She had some though. She had some good ones.
She
though.
did. She did have some.
I mean,
She
they all
was
might all
part of
be
the
gay,
conversation.
but
That's okay.
it's okay. Anyway, everyone, thank you for listening. If you liked this episode, you can leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time.
Happy reading, everybody.
Find us on Instagram at buzzingaboutromance or on Twitter at buzzingromance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.